Hello everyone, so we're going to be working on Lab 3 and it is going to be about the relational schema for the Zaggy Retail Company Sales Department database. So let's go ahead and get started with our first entity. That is going to be region. Simple enough. Region only has two attributes, so we don't have to make this too big. And that first attribute is going to be our primary key, which is going to be region ID. We are going to bold and underline it. That way there's no mistake as to what a normal attribute, a foreign key, and a primary key is going to be. I'll be showcasing what all three will look like in just a moment. So then, of course, in the region, we also have the region name. Simple enough. Since it's just a normal attribute, we keep it that way. Then we know that every store has a region. So of course, now we work on the next one, which is going to be store. This one is just slightly a bit bigger. So go ahead and compensate for that. So our first one is of course going to be that primary ID, which is going to be store ID. Bold, underline, simple enough. Then we are going to have underneath it the store zip. Now again, this one's just going to be your normal attribute, so don't have to do anything to it. However, just underneath that, we have our first foreign key, which is going to be our region ID. Now, to establish what a foreign key is in all of this, we're going to put it in parentheses FK right afterwards. And we're going to slide this over. And there we go. So we have a region, we have store. Now, of course, we now have to put sales transaction. So we'll go ahead and create it down here. And we're going to make it a little bit bigger because just like store, it's got more than region. And make it a bit longer too. Alright, so we'll go ahead and label this as our sales transaction. We'll need to make it longer just because it is a longer word. Okay, so knowing this, of course, we got to put in our primary key first, which transaction, so we're going to put TID. Bold, underline, good to go. Next, we're going to put our attribute, which is going to be our transaction date, or T date. Right after that, we're going to put our foreign key from the store, which is going to be store ID. And remember, we put in the FK there to symbolize it is our foreign key to this situation. Then we're going to add one more foreign key to something we haven't worked on yet, which is going to be our customer ID. Again, adding that foreign key so that everyone knows. Bada bing, bada boom. So we'll go ahead and work on that customer entity real fast. And this one's going to be about the same size as store, because it's got 3. So we're going to make it a little bit bigger. We're going to make it a bit longer too, because customer is a longer word. So since we already know what the foreign key we took from customer is, we can guess as to what the primary key is going to be. And that's going to be our customer ID. So bold and underline it. Underneath customer ID is going to be a normal attribute, which is going to be our customer name. Slide that over. And then we're going to put in our final attribute. No foreign keys on this one. It's just going to be the customer zip. Now we're going to go ahead and put in this, and we're going to come to this in just a moment, because this is going to be our include section to that. This go ahead and create a nice big one. This is going to be our product entity. Product. So, we know that the primary key for product is going to be that product ID. And bold, underline, good to go. I'm going to go ahead and make this a bit longer just because we know we're going to have some longer names. Right underneath product ID is going to be a normal attribute, which is going to be our product price. Then we're going to create another normal attribute. This one is going to be our product name. Now we get into the foreign keys of this. So the first one that we're going to do is our vendor ID, because that is going to be one that we'll be working on shortly after this. And of course we add the FK just to symbolize that it is a foreign key. Then we have category ID, and that is also going to be an FK, because again, foreign key. Put that right under there. Bada bing, bada boom, we're good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and create those other entities that we just talked about, which is going to be our vendor and our category. We're going to make it just a bit longer for category because we know that's going to be a longer name. So this is going to be our vendor. So of course we already know what is going to be in the first spot. And that's going to be our vendor ID. We're going to bold, underline. Then right under vendor ID, we're just going to have vendor name, which is our attribute. Just a normal attribute, but still an important one nonetheless. Then of course, we have this entity, which is our category. And as we already know, our primary key is going to be that category ID. Bold, italic, not italic, it's underline. We got that primary key set up. And just like with vendor, we don't have a foreign key, we just have a normal attribute, which is going to be our category name. Alright, so we're almost all done. Now we have to work on the includes section of this, because the sales transaction includes products. So go ahead and put includes here. Now we're going to have technically composite primary keys, which is going to be our product ID. Now, because it didn't originate from here, it still counts as a foreign key. However, they are still primary, so then we have to treat it as such. There. And of course, we're going to do TID. TID, and then foreign key. Go ahead and bold, underline that. And then finally, we have just a normal attribute, which is going to be our quantity. Alright, so now that that's all done, we have to connect everything. So, knowing this, we'll kind of start at the top here. We know that category ID connects to here. So we'll go ahead and fix that up. And then we also know that vendor ID connects over here. And we'll also fix that up. Okay, so we have those two sections. Now, if you remember, the product ID is also found here, but since this is labeled as a foreign key, we technically connect it, bada bing, bada boom, right about there. And we'll fix this so it doesn't look as wonky. Now, of course, we know that this is the foreign key as well. So then that just connects to here. I'll go ahead and get this a little bit closer. If we can. There we go. Works like magic. So, now that we're here, we have two foreign keys. We know that the customer ID comes from over here. So, that's a simple thing that we can work on and push that out there. Now, we also know that the store ID comes from over here. So, we can go ahead and just put it right about there. We know that this is the connection between sales transaction and store. Now, just like we know before, here's that region ID. We connect it to the region right about there. Slide this over. And that is our relational schema for the Zaggy Retail Company Sales Department database. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope you have a lovely day.